Welcome back to the Bourbon Ron-Dezvous. I'm Ron, and this is our place on YouTube to meet, talk about, and drink bourbon. Tonight, we've been challenged by the Gentleman and Whiskey channel to do the Reddit challenge. Probably one of the only ones left that hasn't done this challenge, so let's give it a pour. So tonight, we're going to do the Reddit challenge. The Reddit challenge, I think everybody's familiar with it because pretty much everybody's done it. But Gentleman and Whiskey challenged me and said, hey, new subscriber to their channel. I had just subscribed. They called me out. I'm doing this finally for them. And if you have not checked out their channel, there'll be a link below. You can jump over there and subscribe to them as well. Check out what they're doing with the bourbon and the whiskeys. They're just doing all kinds of stuff over there. So anyway, Reddit challenge came out and said 5 bottles. Basically, we all know the story. 5 bottles that the only 5 bottles you need in your collection. So you had a daily drinker, you had an impress your guests, you had a cheap mixer, a Friday night special, and special occasion bottle. So let's just jump right in and get this thing going with the daily drinker. This one wasn't too hard for me because for it to be a daily drinker, it has to be relatively easy to find, relatively inexpensive, relatively easy to drink, doesn't punch you in the face too hard. For me, that bottle, Knob Creek 9. Knob Creek 9 meets all of those boxes, checks all of those boxes off, and basically says, you know what, at 100 proof, you can drink it, sip it, mix it, whatever you want to do with it on a daily basis, and you're going to enjoy this. This is a great tasting bourbon. So, moving on to bottle number 2, Impress Your Guests. If you're going to impress your guests, let's just assume that the guests that you have aren't whiskey aficionados like everybody that, has a whiskey channel, loves whiskey and bourbon, and we can talk about it. And if I pulled this bottle out for most of you guys, you're going to go, ha, tater. You know what I'm going to say. But you know what? If they're not used to it, they've probably heard the name. They're going to love the bottle, and it's Blanton's. Blanton's is going to be your impress your guest bottle for me. I'm going to pull that out whenever I have friends over that are maybe a little bit into bourbon, maybe a little bit into whiskey, but they don't really know. Blanton's is the thing. So on to the cheap mixer. This one was a little more difficult because there's a lot of cheap mixers out there. And I decided, hey, what about going local and saying, America. America's out of Galveston, Texas. And I'm actually pulling your leg because this is actually one of the worst things on my shelf. If it is, you know what? I don't feel bad about this being one of the worst things on my shelf at, I think $14 versus the Copper Tongue that's on my shelf at over $100. That's probably just as good. But this, I guarantee this thing is aged at least 2.5 minutes. Outside of that, I can't make any promises. America is not my mixing bottle, but this one's going to be, and I think this is going to be a lot of people's favorite. Comes in 2 basic flavors. You have the old version from Brown-Forman and the new version from Sazerac. You can tell those bottles are a little bit different in size. Early Times Bottled in Bond. ETBIB, that's it right there. I have tried both these bottles. I actually did a review of both these together side by side, and I don't tell a whole lot of a difference. There is slightly a bit of difference between the Brown-Forman product and the Sazerac product, and that may just be some batch drift. Honestly, pick up either one of these. This one is, people are going to say this one's a little bit better. This is the older one, but I honestly think it's the same bourbon. There's no way that Sazerac bought it and had enough time to make a bottled in bond bourbon. Be that as it may, it is fantastic for either one of these as far as mixing. You can do mixing with this and you won't be disappointed. You're not disappointed. This could have very easily slid up into that daily drinker category as well for me because it's actually very, very good. So after the cheap mixer, we got the Friday night special. What do you drink when it's Friday night and you've had a big sale, or you're you're wanting to relax, or you're having a good time out on the back porch? And I'm going to say this, my Friday night special is going to come in basically 3 flavors here. This one's empty, so I've already enjoyed lots of Friday nights with it. This is Bullet 10 year, And I haven't yet opened my Bullet single barrel, I believe this one is called. Yes, the single barrel. I won that in a raffle and I haven't opened it yet, so look for a review of that coming soon. Bullet doesn't get enough play, I don't think. It's an inexpensive bottle, but it's a little bit special. It's a little bit different. And if you go with the 10-year, you're getting a 10-year bourbon at a very reasonable price. Super, super flavorful, lots of taste. I think you're going to like it. That's going to be my Friday night special. So on to the last bottle, and this is something really special. This is a special occasion. This is toasting your best friend getting engaged. This is something really big happening. I don't even know what falls into special occasion, but this is a bottle that might be a little bit harder to get, might be a little bit more rare, a little more expensive. And if you've watched the channel at all, you know what I'm going to reach for because it's one of my favorites. Top 5 easy, top 3 easy. And availability, super limited. Price, even though it actually it has an MSRP that's very reasonable, you're never going to find it at that. This is a $150 bottle and above, even though MSRP on it's what, I don't know, 50 or 60 bucks. Stag Junior is my pick for my special occasion bottle. So this happens to be batch 17, but 16, 17, looking forward to actually trying the new Stag that doesn't carry the Junior name. And that's my special occasion bottle. So there you have it, my Reddit challenge for gentlemen and whiskey. And real quick, Knob Creek 9 is my daily drinker. Impress Your Guess is my Blanton's. My cheap mixer is going to be my Early Times Bottled in Bond. My Friday night is going to be one of my Bullets. And of course, Stag Junior for the special occasion. If you have a whiskey channel and you have not yet gotten in on the Reddit challenge here, 5 bottles, the only 5 bottles you need in your collection. We all know that's baloney because take a look. We got more than 5 bottles in pretty much every collection on any YouTuber's any YouTuber's channel is going to have more than 5 bottles on their shelves unless they're just now getting started. And there's nothing wrong with that. But let me hear your 5 if you have a whiskey channel, a bourbon channel, and you haven't done the Reddit challenge yet. Anyway, I'm Ron. I'm signing off this time, and I will see you next time. Cheers.
My name's Mike the Cat, and I approve this message.